My name is Amy Jamison, and I'm the speech language pathologist at Fayston School. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go through, our presentation will follow this timeline, in that we'll have students that talk about how we introduce the transferable skills to them in the classroom, how the guidance teacher worked to introduce learning about their identities, goal setting. We'll talk about how we went through the goal setting process with the kids. They'll show you what they did, how we used Blogger and Google Sites to house some of their personalized learning plans. And then we have, I think, 6 digital stories to show you that goes through the learning process from the beginning of the year to the end of the year and how they approached reaching their personalized learning goal this year.
My name is Jordan. I'm in 6th grade and from Fayston School. So at the beginning of the year, we did an activity called to learn about transferable skills. And the transferable skills are clean and effective communication, self-direction, citizenship, problem solving, creativity, informed and integrative thinking, and yeah. First, we worked by breaking into small groups. Each group had a transferable skill, and we took the big words and put them into our own words that we could understand better. And yeah, we then made posters to put on the walls of our classroom that we could look at through the school year when we think about our learning. And here are some examples of the posters we made.
So here are the posters that the kids created during their wellness and language arts class, because as a team, when we were at the Tarrant Institute, we thought, wow, look at these crazy words: self-direction, problem solving, creativity, citizenship. What does this really mean to 5th and 6th graders? And so they had the chance to really break them down and put them in their own words. And in each classroom, these are up on the walls, and they remind the students, even during their daily learning, how did I use problem solving today? What did I do that was self-directed? The kids refer to them a lot, and it's more meaningful because the language is broken down into words they can really relate to.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm in 6th grade at Fayston Elementary School. And at the beginning of the year, we learned about identity with our guidance counselor, Mr. Steve, and our classroom teacher, Miss Vassar. We had many different lessons that helped us learn about ourselves. We learned about values, what it means to be a leader. We learned about qualities of a good leader, like patience, trying or doing your best, sticking with it, which is perseverance or grit. We read books that had characters who had some of these qualities and create presentations with Google Slides. We took an online survey about multiple intelligence to help us learn about our strengths. We did a lot of projects like making collages, identity webs, writing poems, and making Wordles with word cloud generator that helped us show our interests and values in different ways. We watched the movie Inside Out and then did projects that represent our own identity and made islands that showed different things we liked. We took photos and blogged about these projects. This is one of the islands that my friend Ellie made, and her island was Fashion Island. And each person who made an island, and each student, would also write a reflection on that and choose why they wrote it and why they had made the island.
Oliver is going to talk a little bit about how we introduced goal setting.
So before we set our SMART goals, we had to learn about setting goals. So we did the Smarties challenge, which is you set a goal, have 30 seconds, and you have 30 seconds to stack as many Smarties on top of each other, and you only have your pinkies. And so we had 2 tries. The first time, a bunch of us set really, really high goals that barely anyone made. And then the second time, we set reasonable goals, and most of them made them. And that's how we learned how to set reasonable goals.
So this is how the scoring worked. Next slide.
Yeah.
So again, our goal was to encourage kids to set realistic, reasonable goals. So we didn't want them to be too easy. We also didn't want them to be too difficult. So you can see up top, If the goal was not reached, so if the kids set a very high goal, they got 5 points for every Smartie they were able to stack. If they reached their goal, they would get 10 points for every Smartie, and then 2 additional points on top of that for each additional Smartie they were able to stack. So you can see the 3 examples. Student number 1 set a very low goal, student number 2 set a very high goal, and student number 3 set a medium goal of 7 Smarties. All 3 students were able to stack the same amount of Smarties, 10, but you can see as points, student number 3 scored the highest with 76 points, whereas student 1 and student 2 scored 44 and 50 respectively. So encouraging kids to set a realistic goal, not too hard, not too easy, and that was really the goal of that activity.
And I think by the end of the activity, because they had several trials, there was some really great reflection that happened around, ooh, yeah, the first time I thought I could get 25. And then when I only got 2, I realized I needed to lower my goal and make it a little bit more realistic.
So, before we set our goals, we learned about the rules SMART to help us set our goals. So the S is specific, measurable, and attainable, and R relevant, and T time-based. My goal was to fundraise for our class trip at the end of the year that we go on for 6th graders. So mine was specific because I'm a 6th grader and we were supposed to raise the money by the end of the year. It was measurable because we would have either got the money by the end of the year or not gotten the money by the end of the year. It was attainable because classes before us has done it, and it's not $1 million. It was relevant because I'm a 6th grader and it is the 6th grade class trip, and it was time-based because we had to reach that amount of money by the end of the year.
Hello, my name is Ruslan and I'm in 6th grade. So we use a template on Google Docs to set up a table for our SMART goals. On the left side, there were questions that went with each of our SMART words to help us make sure we had each part included in our goal. The plan was to refer back to these during the year to help us track our progress.
One of the things that I think was unique about our group is that with the number of teachers we had committed to the PLP process, we were able to break our students into smaller advisory groups, and this really facilitated the process because we were able to break kids into 1 adult to 4 or 5 students and help them use the Google template to frame their ideas, because the kids started to completely blow us away with their ideas, and we realized they had these lofty ideas, but we really needed to break it down into achievable steps for them. After the SMART goals were created, we were able to return to a large group setting, and then we found that there was enough adults to continue the guidance, but there became a lot of peer-to-peer conferencing, and we found several of the students had similar goals, so they would group up and they would say, I'm doing this fundraising project, or I'm creating this website to go with my PLP goal, and we found that the students were able to really support each other through the process. And then throughout the building, we'd identify different resources. If you wanted to work a soccer clinic, you might need to connect with the physical education teacher. Or if you wanted to make sure that more recycling was done throughout the school, you might need to speak with the custodian. So we were able to draw on additional resources throughout the building just to support that.
Hi, my name is Sarah and I'm a 5th grader. During our PLP time, we made a plan to set a PLP goal, and then we would work toward it throughout the year. Along the way, we stopped and thought about how our PLP was going and how did it go as we accomplished it. We used the app Logger to document our reflection in our PLPs and also in our classroom work. We wrote entries to post on our blog to talk about how our PLP was going. Here's an example of my blog called Sarah's Magnificent Blog.
So, Sarah chose to create her own background, and you'll see not only did she reflect on her goal of becoming a babysitter, but she reflected on an all-school project. She was able to learn to import photos, snapshots from the web that were supporting her through her PLP process. This one is your skateboard video blog, so this is an example of your student work that you put on your blog. And this was really new to all of the students, and it was impressive how they were able to incorporate this into their learning throughout the year. And it's also a place where they can reflect back. Here's Sarah working on clear and effective communication during her PLP process. But it's nice to have some of these examples in one place where they can say, oh, that's right, I put that on my blog, and they know to go to it to find their work.
My name's Ruby. I'm a 6th grader at Fayston School. And during our PLP process, we used digital portfolios on Google Sites. And our tech teacher, Michelle Augeter, she created a template for us that we could use. So we created tabs. Our first one was the About Me tab, which showed our identity work.
And here's Ruby doing something she loves to do, and each student wrote an About Me section, and here's your poetry and your Wordle to go with your About You page.
And then there was the goal setting tab, which had our SMART goal template on it. And then there was the reflection tab, which linked to our blog. So when we reflected on things, that would link to there. And then the last tab was a conference, because we have student-led conferences, and that was something that we could look back at to show what we were going to share.
And that was something that when we went to the MGI Middle Grades Institute, we thought about, we're going to have all of these components to their personalized learning plans. Where can we house them? And so we decided to use Google Sites. And Allison was really key in setting those up for all of the kids, but then the kids took part in learning how to link each element to all of the tabs. So there was a lot of learning that went on for them through that process. So one of the ideas for these projects came about because we were trying to decide how to share with parents the personalized learning projects that the kids were doing. We were really thinking about parent outreach. We weren't sure how best to reach the parents. And these were projects that we started the beginning of March for the student-led conferences during their March conference with teachers and parents. And I think each of the 36 students had something digital to share with their parents and explain their personalized learning goal. And I think it was a really effective way for them to teach their parents about what they were doing.